Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another stream of EU4, where I'm gonna talk about my world conquest that ended at year 1538. Today I'm streaming early, or much earlier, because something came up, and if I don't stream now, I won't stream at all today. So everything's ready, I think. Let me just set up the speed. I've started streaming without everything being ready, just to give the people that want to join the stream some time to actually join it. Because, well, I'm streaming way sooner than what you guys probably were expecting. So let's go. Hello, pro tip top. You guys pick such names. Welcome. Alright, let's continue. Let's hit play here. I think that's where we left off. Today the stream is gonna be shorter. I'm just gonna comment 2 videos. Hopefully I won't have to end the stream sooner. I'll have time to actually comment the 2 videos. I'm still adjusting the position of the microphone, so sorry about the noise. So let's see if I remember about what I was doing yesterday. So we're getting closer and closer to the Ottomans, and we're getting closer and closer to East Africa. Another trade company region. And we're getting closer and closer again to moving the capital to Europe. That's gonna happen by 1499. So, let's see if there's something useful here for me to comment. So far, it's the same stuff. (172 overextension, which is quite a lot. But now we have humanist ideas, so we're good until I think we can withstand at around 200 without exploding at this point. Yeah, the first thing that I check is if that land is cored or not. The dudes from Transoxiana are sieging my provinces, and I was like, is that cored? If it's cored, no problem, you can siege it. If it's not cored, then I would have to send an army up there to send him away. So I'm giving these dudes subsidies. They've reached the target Liberty Desired, which was probably around 2000 or something along those lines. At the very least 1400, 1500. So I'm giving them subsidies for them to actually build an army, because they've been sitting at 0 regiments for the majority of the campaign. No wonder, because they had plenty of debt. So now I'm it's moving, changing the occupation of the forts from to another dude that needs to gain some liberty, needs to gain some debt for me to pay their loans, his loans. Again, I'm doing this because in the late game I might, or later in the game, I might need to give them some provinces, just in case I need points. So I would give them some of my provinces in order for me to seize them back and raise them again. At this point, that was the objective. Spoiler, I never actually needed to do that. That was basically all for nothing. But as I usually say, better safe than sorry. At this point we own pretty much the entirety of India. We own all these very profitable lands because of trade and because of the trade companies that boosts production. Looks like the zombies are gonna spawn over there. But the usual stuff. This was also lots of work because of trying to not fight the rebels. Sometimes I call them zombies, or most of the time. It's a long story. So it started in the earlier versions of EU4, where there were no rebel factions. It was just unrest in the provinces. So today, the rebels would spawn. I would kill them. Chances were relatively high, as long as that the next day they would spawn again, or very soon they would spawn again. So I started calling them zombies because there's no way after having killed everyone in those provinces that there was anyone left alive to rebel. So but they kept rebelling, so I called them zombies. And the names continued since then. Sometimes the rebels are still very... I mean, it's not exactly the same thing, because now there's a 10 years cooldown. But still, 10 years is not enough. So the name still fits pretty well. How do you deal with manpower and overextension? That's a pretty big question. You probably should watch the videos. This is part 5. There's part 1 to 4 here on my Twitch channel and also on YouTube. Links are on my own page. Anyway, with that said, many times I converted military points into manpower, and I'm using mercenary infantry with cannons, regular cannons. I'm trying to conquer Yemen. I try to occupy as many provinces as possible, because they're at war with some other dudes. Okay, I'm actually gonna give them some money besides the subsidies, because they need some money to build the units. It takes a long time, grabbing 1 ducat per month, or 2 ducats, or whatever they have left. I mean, they're making a profit at each month, 1.5 ducats or so. It takes a very long time to grab the needed ducats to build 3 regiments. In dispatch it takes even longer because the regiments are more expensive. Okay, those dudes went for the forts. Unless that's not hordes, I'm gonna let them be there. That's how I like them. That's how I like to see them. Basically. This war against Jiangsu. This is another one. Yeah, this is another one. They're being ravaged by rebels. They took some provinces from Korea and never actually managed to stabilize the country. So those rebels were running around for a very, very long time. Well, nothing special, just to say that I haven't already said yesterday and the other days. If I spot something out of the ordinary, of course I'll say it. At this point I should be waiting for the overextension to go down to 0. Or, I mean, it's not overextension to go down to 0, it's the rebel factions to go down, all of them, to 0. Or very near 0. Because some actually cannot go all the way to 0, for whatever reason, like the zombie sentiment event that you're seeing in the screen. I was bombarded with these. Each one of those events, it's plus 15 unrest, so it's really hard to overcome something like that, especially if we still have separatism in the province. Like I said multiple times, I really wish there was a cooldown for these events so that I could click them and not have the event blocking all the gigantic parts of the screen real estate. Either that, or that I could minimize it. Even with troops on top of that. So I gave up. Let him spawn. I'm putting this guy in automatic suppression, but that's a gigantic mistake. The very few times that I put the stacks in suppression, they did exactly what, I mean, There's a reason why I don't use the rebel the stacks to suppress rebels, automated stacks to suppress rebels. It's because it's absolute garbage, the algorithm. So it's like you're basically shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. But I was like, man, this is too much work. Let's put this under automation. Maybe I'm lucky and the stack will actually do, do decently. It's hopeless. It's way too crappy. But these things are never a priority. These fixes are never a priority. Whatever. The priority is to wreck the balance of the game in an attempt to stop us an exploit or stop gameplay deemed as exploitive. That's fine, but fixing the actual problems, no, it takes forever, and basically most of them are never fixed. Like the UI lying. There are bugs in this game for years now that are never addressed, but I don't want to turn this into a rant, so I'm gonna shut up now. I'm still wondering. There's a while I'm gonna fire up EU4 just to check something. There was a pretty big bug. I'm sorry. Let me just check something before I forget it, because I'm likely to forget that and only remember, say, a couple of days from now or 1 week from now. I wanted to check something. It's EU4, so it's so I apologize to the 5 people watching. Let me just check something. Talking about bugs, there's one very annoying, or there was one extremely annoying with tributaries, where if we took land from a tributary, from a dude, and at the same time try to make him a tributary, you would pay the dip for the land that you took, and probably also to make him a tributary if you didn't add a valid CB. But, or no, you didn't pay dip for the land, because in the end you ended up with no lands. So I'm trying to say in my usual clumsy way is that when you in previous patches, since tributaries were introduced, when you take land from a tributary, from a guy that is not yet your tributary, but you want him to become a tributary, but you also want a certain amount of provinces, and you demand that in a peace deal, what happens is that you end up with no province and the tributary. So let me check if that was fixed, at least that. You'll soon see EU4 in your screen. What's up? Okay, there we go. You can see EU4. I don't know, let's speak Ming, whatever. This was an extremely annoying bug. There's more, but so let's see. This guy is allied with Khmer, Pegu, and Tongu. Mer, Pegu, Tango. Okay. Bear with me. So, Pegu. This guy is allied with Tango. Tango is not yet my tributary, but he's gonna become a tributary. Oh, that's not what I want to do. It's this one. Bank. So Pegu is now my tributary. Of course, this wasn't fixed because, of course, this has no priority whatsoever. It has been like this like forever and one day. But of course, this has no priority. It's fine that the UI is saying this is just one of them. And the AI is saying that this guy won't join. When you overhit, he will actually join. So this has been like this, like basically since forever. So the bug's still there. Looks like I'm salty, but yeah, I would like to see these things before they break something else, like they did in this patch. So this guy will actually join. Let's check. It's a pretty huge bug in my opinion, but maybe it was fixed. So I'm asking these provinces and them as tributaries. Okay, it was fixed. Nice, at least this one was fixed. Okay, awesome. So let's continue. I think you guys are watching the recording. Yep, so let's continue. I'm glad that was fixed. At least that one. So 85%, and this is outbreak down to 71%. So it's good. It's good. It's I'm taking some time to actually siege them up, but it's no problem because the rebel factions are still going down. As long as many of these wars end within the next 5 months or so, 6 months give or take, it's fine. So Okay. Let's go siege that guy up. Another overextension event going for the horde unity. That's it. No more rebels. In Jiangsu. Okay, rebel sentiment. That's why I have unrest over there. I cannot make that a state to use the feudal de jure edict, because some lands nearby are still coring, some provinces that belong to that state. So if there's something still coring, we are not allowed to, as you know, to create a state. Losing money, it's always losing money. And lots of it, actually. Many new players can't deal with the hordes, or think the hordes are not fun, because they're always losing money. They're extremely poor. The lands from the hordes, the majority of them have usually more manpower than production, and base tax, and have shitty trade goods, which in turn makes the trade nodes really bad, and low development, and so it's just bad economic situation. Then there's the local autonomy from the tribes estate. Minimum local autonomy is 50%. On top of that, the tribes demand way too much land by comparison with the other estates, which makes a dude like Jiangsu at the beginning of the game unable to actually pay for the army. So at full maintenance, we're losing several ducats, and not even at full force limit, with 100, nearly 100 development. Then there's a dude in Europe, one province minor, that is gaining like 4 ducats or something at full force limit and full maintenance with just one province. I'm saying one dude, but there's more, there's plenty more. On top of that, the 3 development provinces, this area, the Manchuria, and the provinces from Uzbek, from Chagatai, Nogai, well, horde territory is just, I mean, it's so crappy. But on top of that, because of the way the rebel factions work, each one of those provinces can generate a shit ton of rebels. Because if I only have one province, then it's just one province contributing to a rebel faction. If I have multiple level 3 provinces, rebel factions go faster, way faster, and it's unavoidable that they'll spawn. And since the rebels are overpowered, the stacks are way too big for the economical capacity of the hordes. why I'm talking about this. I'm talking because the rebels put another economic strain on the poor countries, to the point that, and especially if you're recording like 100% or even better, or even worse, at 200%, all the money that we make from development and production, basically all of it, goes to fight corruption. So you're always hemorrhaging money. On top of what I've just said, 50% local autonomy in the states, shitty trade goods, shitty provinces, that many of them have more manpower than actually give money. Not to mention that if we expand a bit, unless we're an empire, the hordes are limited to 5 states only. So it's 75% everywhere. Local autonomy with the exception of 5 states, 5 shitty states. And then, I mean, I could stay here all day talking about it, but then there's the pressure from the horde unity. I could go on and on. We have to always conquer, we have to always be at war, because or else the bad events will happen, some of them pretty bad, giving us a shit ton of rebels, and then unrest in the provinces. And yeah, that's what the hordes needed, was another money nerf. Just because I was able to conquer the world in 100 days in last 100 years doesn't make it fine. Alright, let's focus on this, but basically there's nothing going on, just nothing special. I mean, RW, he's gonna lose his army. You see, losing 89 ducats a month. I could keep the economy afloat without going bankrupt and without taking loans, because I took money from countries that were annexed, about to be annexed, and they had, say, 100, 200 ducats. Now I cannot do that. Now it's not possible. So I'm not crying over it. I'm just saying that change is gonna make me probably include bankruptcy in my plans, you say. So, you know, I never did that. Basically, I don't do that. I always try to keep a sane economy, to avoid loans like the plague and never go bankrupt. And this run was an exception, and that's because I was gonna stop being Ming, so the dude that I was gonna play wouldn't be bankrupt. I never ever go bankrupt in my runs. Now, because of all the fantasy changes, I'm probably gonna have to do that. And I mean, if this is why I said the other day that I think the changes are a bit ridiculous now. It's becoming ridiculous. You cannot touch the treasury from a guy that has lots of money. You cannot touch it. You're limited to 5 loans. If a guy has 3 development, you can take 5 whole ducats from him. Never mind the fact that he can have 400 in the bank, just like happened historically. The hordes pillaged all the lands of their enemies and said, well, we cannot take more than 5 ducats. Don't leave those 200 or those. Leave that, all that gold, leave it. No, don't touch it. We cannot take more than 5 ducats, so don't touch it. I could go on and on. It's just whatever. I have to talk about something. There's nothing basic here going on. It's just always this, at this point is the same. Is kill the attack as when we're ready to attack another guy, we attack him, kill his army, siege his forts, siege the provinces, preventing him to recruit more regiments. Forts needing almost up to 100% to be sieged, just like that one. It's already at 71%. One of these forts even compelled me to enter the console to send you guys a message, like saying, for fuck's sake, why doesn't it fall? Because when I was playing these, I thought that this would end up on YouTube, but I would not be doing what I'm doing right now, which is to comment. It would be just music. So once in a while, I use the console to communicate with the viewers. What's more hilarious with this, I mean, it's not what's more hilarious, it's one of the most hilarious things with the change, with tying up loans with war score, or war score to loans, is that, I mean, that's probably a side effect, because it's a very effective way to prevent exploits, but in my mind, exploits with regard to money, even though it's something from in the, not only if it's the right expression, but it's, since it's fantasy, I always remember Alice in Wonderland, you know. So it's like something that comes from that, basically, because it doesn't make any sense from a real life perspective. It's just fantasy. In this age, people, when there were wars, they would pillage everything, take the national treasure if they found it. But not in U4, but I digress. What I'm trying to say is that one of the interesting or funny, I think the only reason why they did it was to punish the large countries. Say there were some players that expanded fast and didn't care with coalitions. When the coalitions declared war, they would just give 10,000 ducats to send them away. Then they would go bankrupt and basically they didn't care about the money that they spent, because they played with bankruptcy in mind. But like I was saying, the changes were probably to punish large countries. So for example, if you have 7,000 development, if you have a country with 7,000 development and then someone declares war on you and you want to send him away, under with the new rules, 25 war score worth of loans, it's 17 over 17k in ducats, 17.5k, and if 100% deals were available or were possible, to get rid of that coalition or that war would cost no less than 70,000 ducats. So that's obviously ridiculous. So they had to limit the war score to just 25, or else the player would bankrupt the AIs every single time. As it stands, the player will still bankrupt the AIs, because, and I'm probably gonna show that very soon, and in the process they completely fucked up the war economy of most countries, the poor countries. At first I didn't believe it, but I was thinking, well, Paradox has a track record of derping really hard with balance changes, with certain changes in the game, like for example corruption back in 1.16 2.0. I never seen something as silly as that in a game. So that compelled me to make a thread on the Paradox forum to expose the situation and ask how people as intelligent as the Paradox that make amazing games could come up with something like that. And they quickly changed it. And this is looking, it's not a screw up as big as that one, but it's in the same league, in my opinion. And compelling me to do something that I said that I would never do again, which was to create another thread on the Paradox forum to talk about this, because this is very silly. Hello, Imperator Octavian, welcome. I just bumped the microphone again. Sorry about that. Alright. I said I'd never do that again because it's a bloody waste of time for me, because they don't never reply, basically. Just a waste of time. Then the fanboys for the I'm also a fanboy because I like Paradox a lot, but still I wouldn't be playing this game for 8,000 hours if I wasn't a fan. But then the forum experts then all come and insult me because they did it when I made that thread about corruption a couple of years ago, or a bit more. I was insulted multiple times, even though even though I really knew the game and I was right. I mean, I had a point, and the proof of that was that the game was actually changed because of that thread. And I was insulted multiple times, and so I said, I'm not doing this again. Of course, that's not by Paradox, but by like I said, the forum experts. And then after that, I made many threads, or some threads, or smaller things, and never got a reply. So at some point, one stops giving a shit. But I do love this game, so. Hello, Camrar and Improve, welcome. Improve is saying it's always quite annoying to see that they introduce so many new things and changes, but almost always there is something that ruins the game to some extent. Yeah, fortunately, in my opinion, the massive screw-ups don't happen many times. Once in a while. So, in a nutshell, what this is gonna do is to incentivize me to, like I said at least a few times, to exploit the game even harder, because there's no point. What I want to say is that I always make a huge effort because to try to keep the finances sane, like I said a while ago, not exploit by going bankrupt over and over and over again. It's like bankruptcy for me didn't exist. Not only it would be 5 years downtime while I'm waiting to not be bankrupt, but I also don't like it. I think it's exploitive. It's like it's also fantasy, because, you know, you're always going bankrupt, but everyone is always lending you money. Never mind the fact that you always go bankrupt several times per game, but the banks keep lending you money. That's absolutely fantastical. No one would ever lend you any money. So you may think that I do these world conquests and then which are not very realistic, and then I'm talking about reality and how things are fantasy and so on. Yeah, but that's me probably playing the game in a way that probably Paradox didn't suppose it could be played, but Paradox itself making the game in a way that has nothing to do with reality. You know what I mean? When this is supposed to be historical, but anyway. And it's gonna be a sad day, the day that I start using bankruptcy as something to do, and because, like I was saying, and I guess lost my train of thought, bankruptcies never enter my strategizing, almost never. It's pretty rare, because it was possible to keep a sane economy, so I did it. I just need to play careful. Micro the armies decently well, and you know, don't have coalitions to whom I have to give 10,000 ducats to send them away. So if one plays well, there's no need to do that. There's no need to go bankrupt. There was no need, but at this point the provinces are worthless. We need to, many times, because the quarrying times are not fast enough, we need to increase the local autonomy right away on the shitty provinces that we conquered as a horde. Most of them are absolute shit. Totally not worth fighting rebels over them. We have no autonomy reduction as a horde. So provinces are useless, apart from the debasing currency. Because the basing currency is tied up to loan size. It's the same thing. So if you have like 5,000 development, you can hit the debase currency button to gain 2,500 ducats. So that's useful. But then, but that's before the absolutism. When absolutism comes along, you cannot push that button just like many others. So I could stay here all day talking about this, but the truth is, when we're overextended, all the money from development and production goes away. Then there's like I said, the need for the hordes to keep going, always conquer more land. Because if we conquer some country and you give the provinces back, because we don't want to deal with the problems that comes from conquering provinces, you just need to raise to get the horde unity up. There's a cooldown of 20 years, so there's no way we can wait 20 years to go raise the same provinces again. So we need to keep going. It's basically the hordes, the way they've balanced them actually makes us go conquer the world, or else deal with a shit ton of rebels. Even more, and bad events, and tribal succession crisis, +10 unrest everywhere, and on top of the +2 from low horde unity, then more bad events, and so the manpower regeneration is crap. There's no way one can keep have total war always with the manpower regeneration that we have, unless we do like I did here, which is to recruit some mercenaries, lots of them, and turn military points into manpower, and conquer extremely fast. And yeah, I could stay here and could go on and on. So, still exploring using that guy to uncover Madagascar and wherever, everything that's in range, within the colonial range. So you see, this is a shitty 3 development provinces, but because of these shitty 3 development provinces, I'm probably gonna have to deal with 20,000 rebels or more. That province is even if it wasn't at 100 local autonomy, it would give me like 0.01 or, you know, money per year. Feels like Chris. AI force limit is down because of the changes. Yep, camera, and yep, indeed. I suppose it's because of that. I haven't touched the game. I haven't played the campaign, but I've seen the threads in the forum. But it's normal, because with all the gigantic nerfs, it's absolutely normal. On top of that, you take, say, I'm gonna show, I think I can quickly bankrupt Ming if I want to. I think it can be done. I haven't touched it, but the way this works, I suppose I can bankrupt Ming really quickly, and which makes it even more overpaid per tiger. And probably conquer it in 25 years as Jianzhou. I'm not sure, but it should be possible. But very easily, you know, it's not like I'm sweating or anything, it's just easy peasy. But like I was saying, and more because of the way the loan size works, and how loans work in general. For example, if there's a dude with, say, 200 development, I take, I don't know, 70 development off of him, or 60. And I demand 5 loans. He's gonna take 5 loans at his current loan size, just to be cut, just to, for, let's imagine for the sake of argument that I have some admin efficiency. So I would probably, instead of 60, I would cut his development in half. So the guy would be taking 5 loans at his current development, which would be, since he has 200, it would be 500 ducats, and then it would be cut down in size to just 100 development. You see where this is going? So you will have a gigantic debt to repay, especially if he was like Uzbek or something with absolute shitty lands. He would never be able to repay that. The hordes are already have already a deficit at full force limit. Not even there. At 60% of the force limit, they already have a pretty big deficit when demand maintenance is raised. The guy is gonna go bankrupt instantly, basically, or he's gonna disband his army and be like a zombie for I don't know how many years until he finally goes bankrupt, or his neighbors eat him. Another thing, the tying up loans to war score or war score to loans in like the way the game works, it's the entirety of the development that it's being accounted for the loan, you know? So you have 1000 development, you're allowed to take half of that as a loan. So 500 ducats. But of those 1000 development, you could actually end up having like 600 manpower, and only the rest of it, or something along those lines, that doesn't give you any money, and only the minority be of something that gives you money. So this doesn't make sense in many ways. Why do you culture convert? I culture convert to not lose I'm gonna need the points a few years from now to take diplomatic ideas. So I'm storing the points in culture conversion so that I can take them later on. and complete the idea group. Is it possible to skip humanists since you are getting rebels anyways? Isn't it better to pick defensive quality? Asks Warriors of the Wood. If you're a masochist, then sure. Or if you like if you like to fight rebels, if you think that's fun, go ahead and pick quality and humanist and defensive and skip humanist. It's your call. Like I said multiple times, even yesterday, I said it several times to other people that asked. There's no... I would never ever do this without humanist ideas unless I had like 100 corruption or so, and even then it would be hard to not rely on humanist still. Because humanist ideas not only reduces the unrest, you know, like at -2 unrest, plus 25 religious unity, 25%. It also increases the tolerance, which increases the religious unity so much that basically with anyone that's Hindu, will put you at very near 100% religious unity, which means less unrest in the provinces and also, extremely important, cheaper stability costs. So humanist is a pretty... It's very, very, very important. Unless, of course, you have unlimited monarch points for whatever reason. In which case, you don't care with the stability cost. And you can have 100% corruption. But even then, I think humanist would be useful. So as usual, I'm waiting for the right time to take the overextension. So the objective is to go conquer finish some more war, you know, defeat as many dudes as possible to have them in standby to be next. This is the second video. Is this a strat that you convert to Aishi as Ming? Yes, it is. Polar Man. You wrote that a while ago, but I only saw it now. Didn't tag me. So if you want to reply for me, try to tag me like this. You'll increase your chances. Oh, more zombies to kill. Those were because they're there because I'm annexed, fully annexed. I think it was Yemen. Okay, I declared a war on QQ. Either that or I already had was already at war with them. Yeah. They were allied with someone. Sorry, I'm just checking something. There we go, waiting for the zombies to go away. This was really painful. Clicking the culture thingy. Luckily, it's just another 8 years and a half of waiting. I only have to do that another 9 or 10 times. Or 12. Really shitty to start deep. Okay, there goes VJ. Way too much clicking. Right, if we're not worried Mogadishu, or are we? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna leave just 6 regiments there and send the stack, half of the stack, or the rest of the stack to go attack someone else. Like I said yesterday, I wanted to grab a truce with the Mamluks and with the Ottomans, the biggest after the dudes in Persia. Those are the biggest countries in Muslim countries in EU4. I was very lucky in this campaign with regard to the Timis. So no. No, I mean, usually the Timurids are really, it's really slow to conquer them, but since everyone's split up, all of his vassals declared independence and wrecked him, this was extremely fast to conquer. But like I was saying, apart from the now almost dead Timurids, and his vassals, or former vassals, the biggest countries are the Ottomans and the Mamluks at this point of the game. I wanted a truce with them before moving my capital to Europe. That's what I'm thinking right now, or I was thinking right now when I was playing these. Right when I was playing these, you know, at this point of the recording. Because I won't waste any time. The moment I grab a truce with the moment I grab a border with the Mamluks and the Ottomans, it's declaration of war. Because at this point they still cannot see me. They would be able to see me and therefore join a coalition, because they would definitely join a coalition if my capital was in Europe. That's why it's still in Asia. Hello Murdek, welcome, good afternoon. You see all these bad events just because I have more than 100% overextension. Some of them pretty harsh. Minus 25 prestige. Minus 10% army tradition. Plus 1 war exhaustion. Minus I don't know how many thousand men. And so on. Continuously bombarding me. If I click them, like I said several times, I would be eligible for yet another one. So I always let them disappear on their own. That -1 stability, I was forgetting about that one, because it's gonna happen plenty of times, and sometimes at the worst possible time. Really, I'm not making that up. In like, okay, I should be fine if nothing happens, and then boom, stability hit, and go below 0, and all of a sudden everyone wants to rise up. Yeah, that happened. Hello, Siu. Welcome. Good afternoon. What was your final development? Asks Murdek. Around 12,000. I saw your video, Siu. The new one with regard to the changes. Good video. I think the only thing that was left to say was that not all development is money. There's in some areas of the globe, some development is, most of the development is actually manpower. That doesn't give any money. It's just manpower. Like the areas where the hordes come from. It's mostly there's areas of the world that it's rich in the production and base tax, and there's almost no manpower. There's area of the world that's rich in manpower and there's almost no development or production. The areas with rich in manpower are gonna suffer even more with the changes. Yep, like I said, it was a good video. I saw it. I agreed with everything that you said. The only thing left unsaid was, in my opinion, was that, from the top of my mind. So, yeah, it was pretty rare, but once in a while I harsh treated. It was extremely rare, actually. Manpower, the monarch points are way too precious because I need the manpower. I'm always grabbing more land, therefore have more force limits, even if only barely and slowly. So I need more manpower to build cannons and so on. I don't care, I'm gonna actually waste, I think, unless I boost stability, which might happen. Apparently I'm gonna waste the points on purpose, because it's cheaper to waste some points than to develop something that I don't need. I'm definitely waiting for something, probably to tech up or something, I'm not sure. What the hell am I waiting? Oh, okay, to boost the stability. And tech up. Yep, tech up. I'm waiting to tech up. So why Aichi? Because it was the only Manchu country with less than that could be annexable in one war. I explained everything in part 1 of well, I'm gonna call it this series. Here, this is part 5 if I recall correctly. Yeah, part 5, there's a part 1 and it's in both channels. here on Twitch and on YouTube. If you like World Conquests, especially the ones done very quickly, I think, modesty apart, it's a good investment of time to watch that. You'll learn probably lots of new stuff or good stuff, whatever you want to call it. Some more zombies coming my way. There's no... Can I stop it? Apparently I can, but I decided against it because the anti-zombie stack is going that way. There we go, time to take some more overextension. And here I am again, about to cap. This was the last tag that we were allowed to take, military tag, without raising efficiency. Bummer. They still had a dude over there. A rebel, a regiment that now became a rebel. Can't confirm, says camera, thanks. Where do I find the other parts? Here on my... You can see it here on Twitch. Press the videos, my videos. So, and you'll see them. Okay, time to... Still giving them a good general. I'm still converting the provinces because that's needed for the... next age. One of the age objectives is to convert provinces. I think it's 10 or 20. I think it's 20. You could fight Muscovy once, move your capital to Novgorod and make trade companies without coalitions, says Warriors of the Wood. I've just said minutes ago, and I think that the reason why I didn't move my capital to Europe was because I would have to deal with coalitions. And you're saying that I wouldn't. So, I don't agree with you. So, yeah, I'm gonna declare war on that, on Diviads and kill another of my tributaries that the troops were already positioned to kill the tributary, just to prevent the whack-a-mole. Like I said multiple times already, I'm sure. High priority to eradicate their armies to prevent the whack-a-mole. Of course, if I had more troops, none would survive. But I've always struggled with lack of military during this campaign. If I took lands, Warriors of Wood is saying that I should move the capital to Novgorod because no one would join a coalition because no one can see Novgorod. At the very least, Denmark would be able to see it. I'm not sure, but at the very least, Denmark would be able to see it. At the very least, Poland and company would be able to see it. Then there's the Livonian Order. There's a bunch of dudes there that probably can see it because it's right next door. And I would generate a shit ton of aggressive expansion to go invade Muscovy. And I deemed it not worth it. So I proceeded with the plan that I had in mind, which was to grab a truce with the Ottomans, and from that point on, and the Mamluks, and from that point on, move the capital. Again, I was not gonna mess with another religious group when I still don't control the one that I'm fighting. It's still not under control. That's, I'm sorry to say it, a pretty big mistake that usually ends up giving you coalitions. So leave the Christians alone until the Muslims are under control. The way to have them under control is to have them all dead or with truces. That's what I'm doing. Maybe I was too careful, but I couldn't in any way jeopardize the run with the coalition war. Thanks anyway for the suggestion. I'm gonna keep it in mind for other campaigns. I will. Truthfully, I'm gonna check it. So I may end up doing something different. If things are exactly as you are saying they are, so. But at this point in time, everything was going towards supporting a plan that had nothing to do with Novgorod and, you know, and Muscovy and. Sioux thinks it's pointless. Time for a cup of water. Sorry about the noise. It's a plastic bottle. So, like I said yesterday, if you think that I'm forgetting about the stack in some place, that's not what's going on. The stack is just waiting for the right time to declare war. Probably waiting for yet another stack to arrive at the vicinity to be able to eradicate all armies at the declaration of war, when it's time to declare war. If I, for example, don't have enough troops, then yeah, sure, I have to declare war and engage them with what I have and endure the whack-a-mole, but usually, like what's happening over here, I'm preparing to go and beat up probably Edjas. I think Hejaz was allied with that guy in Africa that I've checked a while ago, and he was at war. And I said, am I at war with him? I can't recall the name. In East Africa, near the Horn of Africa. I think they were allied, if I recall correctly. But the dude was like 100% occupied. So very unlikely to honor a call to arms. Here is 1491. One of the most profitable areas in Asia are almost all conquered, just wrapping up. Indochina. Now going for Africa, for the trade companies in Africa. Madagascar, you know, and Kilwa. Some very nice provinces there. Well, let's move on to the next one. Like, okay, that's stuck. Finally finished the work. Time to go butcher someone else. You won't have enough force limits for another stack. I'm always checking. Another stack makes this go even faster, you know? That's the reasoning. I'm wondering why didn't I put a regiment to unsiege that province? Probably because I was asleep. Literally. Sometimes I played for 14 hours and near the end I was already making mistakes. Making mistakes basically. Right when I become tired, I become slower. Much slower. Okay, I see. Now it looks like I didn't see there was a fort there. Alright, there was a fort, I didn't see it, so that's why I didn't leave a regiment there to unsiege the province. So never mind. That stack blocked the fight, I didn't see the fort. And we're gonna grab the TV against the Mamluks. I'm probably gonna do some double piece here. I'm not sure. It's possible. Because I always try to do that. For example, to take out the Ottomans. I used and abused the AI tendency to guarantee some very weak dude near his border. And I used it and abused it to eradicate them, the Ottomans, and basically everyone big by using that really quickly. So I'm still, my main culture is still in this culture group, Belushi. So I'm coring that in 8 months only. So as you can see, kill the armies, then siege quickly to prevent more from being raised. Always sending more regiments to the last province, because it takes time to get there, and by the time that my troops get there, probably the America was already recruited. Okay. That guy was my tributary still. But he was allied probably with Diviets. And I didn't have enough troops to go kill him. Now I do. Again, this is always the same, so I look like a broken record, but you see, I left 6. That's a level 1 fort in Delhi. I use usually only 6 artillery. I'm seeing 7 regiments there, not sure why, but I leave 6 artillery. 5 to speed up the siege to the maximum, give the maximum bonus, artillery bonus, and another one just in case we suffer disease outbreak, to keep the artillery bonus to the maximum despite the disease outbreak. There we go, Soran. They're being guaranteed probably by the Ottomans and the Mamluks, or both of them. There we go. The moment, like I said before, the moment I grabbed the border with the Ottoderbs, I declared war. But sorry, not Ottoderbs, Mamluks, but I'm gonna do the same with the Ottoderbs. I'm probably gonna grab a white piece with that dude. This was a big, I mean, it was like a mistake and at the same time not a mistake, because I really needed to attack the Mamluks, but on the other hand, they were allied with Ardalan, and Ardalan has 2 or 3 cores on 2 or 3 provinces that I'm coring, so I gave priority to wrecking Ardalan so that I could continue to core those provinces. Looks like I'm gonna declare on someone that is allied to that tributary Kashmir. I think it's Kashmir. Mahmoud Derbs says camera. Uh-oh, I'm gonna fight some rebels. We're gonna fight some rebels. And that's it for that guy. I think I'm focusing on Ardalan. If I'm not doing it now, I'm gonna do it the moment I realize, because I already realized it for sure. Just in case, I'm saying it. I think I'm gonna go to war with. I think I'm at war with Ardalan. If I'm not at war with Ardalan now, I'll be at war with Ardalan, and that was half of a mistake because I'm still coring stuff from him. I don't think I'm mixing up the runs. I remember that vividly. So it must have been the last run. which is weird at the same time because I have 8 months scoring time. Or maybe I don't, because that region is already belongs to the Turkish culture group, but I doubt it. Those generals are really useful. 5 siege. But even with 5 siege, sometimes the random number generator trolled me so hard. That the fort state needed over 1 year to fall. With plus 10. Looks like I wanna... Yeah, it's because of the unrest. More boats coming online. Gonna increase the speed at which we move, or the safety, if they're heavies. I didn't actually see if they were heavies. Okay, now that we're fighting the bigger boys, having my vassals running around with 3 stack is just counterproductive. They're just gonna get murdered. So I decided to put them in defensive so that they unsiege, for them to unsiege provinces only. Even then they can get murdered, but it's less likely. As you can see, all these lands and losing 99 ducats a month. Because like I said again multiple times, all my money from development and production is going towards fighting corruption. So I basically, all that's left is the money from looting and the very little money that I'm making from gold, because that was still also nerfed in the previous patch. Now it's like dumping diplo points to the garbage bin. If you develop a gold province, is almost like, okay, I don't need these diplo points, let me dump them in the garbage bin. It's basically developing a gold mine, because the chances of it depleting are absolutely gigantic. At least that's what I saw in the last time that I played with lots of golds. Even ridiculously low odds of depleting, like 0.06%, 0.05 actually happened multiple times, and the mine depleted. So it's like, it's ridiculous, but whatever. Continuing. So probably I'll have some spare stock and I'm gonna declare on Ardalan, or again I'm mixing up the runs, which I doubt it very much, but I guess we'll see. If the vassals stacked, you know, I have like 5 vassals, if they stacked on top of each other in with a 15 stack, then yeah, sure. Because I could make them a march, give them extra discipline, extra morale, then they would be pretty hard to kill. So they wouldn't be a big liability, or they would actually be useful. But no, they're just like headless chickens running around with single stacks of 2 or 3 regiments and get butchered. They're worthless in, I mean, they're so weak. The 3 regiments is not totally not worth my time to leave a regiment in their capital or something to try to have them attach. Then they would detach whenever they please. They only do what they please. To this day, it still doesn't work consistently. They might be attached and all of a sudden decide they want to go to the other side of the world just because. And then you'll be screwed. So never ever trust the AI. The only thing the AI can be trusted is to screw up in the worst possible way, the most hilarious. So if you want to laugh, or if you want to cry, go ahead, trust the AI. Okay, I think I've asked military access from the autoderbs. At this point they were still willing to give me because they were not... They still had the unknown attitude towards me. And so I didn't get the penalty from outraged. I'm fighting his rival. Sure, you're an enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he's giving me military access. Sorry for the silence, I was checking something. Okay, I'm getting rid of forts because I've been keeping them around. And some of them are actually not needed, so we can save some money. The way that I do it is to disable them, then I receive, while at war, then I receive that pop-up, I click it and it sends me to the forts. Then if I deem them unnecessary, I'll disband them and keep doing it until they're all gone, at least the ones that I don't want, which is the big majority. So I could probably save some 20 ducats, something like that, which helps. Not sure why I'm keeping these forts, but probably because there's some unrest around, and I think that I'll be able to send troops there before the rebels take the fort. And when we sortie, that's usually we can grab 2-3 regiments or what's left of them after the fight. I'm still not swimming in manpower. The stack that I'm using to fight zombies is mostly made up, if not all of it, made up of regular infantry and 1 cavalry that, excuse me, that was around, I'm not sure even why I had it, because I never have cavalry in my runs. It's too expensive for what they do. But I decided to keep it. I'm not sure exactly why, but I kept it. Anyway. I kept it as a pet. It's my only regiment of cavalry. Okay, there we go. This was the mistake. I'm at war with... Or is it? Am I at war? What's going on? Oh, I see. I'm gonna seize I remember. I'm gonna seize that province, Koi. I was surprised that I couldn't acquire one of all those provinces, because some of them are probably in Europe or something. was expecting... I think I was expecting to be able to core all of them. Somehow. Probably didn't see that those provinces were not connected. Then you're fucked, Mark. Nope, I'm not. Let's seize this province. We can do it while at war. And there we go. We have connection to the capital. We can core all of these. Since you're in the neighborhood, why not seize the other one? And I've just spent all my monarch points pool of administrative points into taking up way ahead of time without first embracing this institution. I did it not because I'm a dummy, but because, well, development is useless. I was not going to spend admin points in developing unless I had really nothing else to do with them. And I kind of need to know I kind of needed to know exactly when I could grab tech 10, admin 10, and that gives me a clear view. Because the next tech is tech 10. I can clearly see when I can grab it. And I had no better use for the points. Okay, time to declare on Basra. And because, well, you joined the coalition, you die. When someone joins a coalition and you have a CB on him, don't wait for someone else to join that coalition. You can declare right away. The next guy that joins a coalition, I'm gonna declare on him if I have a CB. Probably more dudes that are gonna join. I'm not... That happened at some point. Probably it was now. I remember having declared a few wars that I was not really prepared to deal with them, but I had to declare. Who's next? Probably Ardalan. I'm still thinking that I'm gonna fight Ardalan. Before the cores are ready. Oh, I have a stack in the vicinity and all, so yeah, let's go. Never mind that you're coring a province or 2 or 3 that belongs to them. But people were joining coalitions, so I had to do it, so shit happens. So I focused on Ardalan. Man, so many posts. You guys really need to rest your fingers because I don't want you to get hurt. Everyone's asleep or what? No problem. The end of the video will soon arrive. It's just another 2.5 minutes, give or take. Hello, Simon 1292. Welcome. Sorry, I was laughing because of what camera said. I'm pretending to work. Anyway, welcome. Okay, I'm checking for the provinces that have unrest because all factions need to be at 0. So now that we can clearly see which ones need to be dealt with. It was a shit ton of work, but in the end this was very satisfying, and I also had plenty of fun when I was not fighting rebels and dealing with rebels. That's what I'm doing right now. This is not fun. Okay, my phone is ringing. So I'm gonna leave you guys with... I have to end the stream. I'm gonna leave the... I'm gonna say goodbye now. Thanks for keeping me company. I'll be back tomorrow with another stream. So take care and I'll see you tomorrow.